Today, I'm going over to the political bar podcast. You have Vivek on the Delaware court judge tearing up Elon Musk's $56 billion contract that both the shareholders, the board of directors, and he had agreed upon all those years ago. Now, this went viral last week as, again, Elon, the shareholders, the board of directors, they all agreed if Elon hit certain goals for Tesla, they would have that big payout. One of the shareholders decided to sue him, saying that's not fair, we think it's too much. Even though Elon Musk worked like hell to achieve those goals, and they got the benefit of it, now the judge is saying, oh yeah, you don't deserve to get paid. Basically, you have to work for free. Really? And again, you know me, if I had all the money in the world, I would still probably, I would only buy a Tesla Cybertruck so I could do an engine swap so I can get a stick shift. Because I think design is kind of tongue-in-cheeky. But, you know me, I love internal combustion engines. I love having 3 pedals, manual transmission. That's my bread and butter. I love that experience. I wouldn't have it any other way. But even I, from a business perspective, admire Elon like hell for building Tesla and being one of the biggest outliers in business history. I mean, the only successful American automotive startup company since Chrysler was Tesla. Every other one has failed, and Rivian is barely hanging in there these days. I mean, their stock is taking a hit, and they've had to take out a couple $1 billion to have more cash reserves as those have depleted more and more. So I have nothing but admiration when it comes to Elon's business achievements, and the judge is saying, oh yeah, we don't like it. Which is, again, a big warning sign for the business community. Do not incorporate your company in the state of Delaware, which for decades has been the business norm. It seems like every tech company, most companies have their business incorporated there, but then they have a headquarters somewhere else, which there's a lot of tax and legal litigation reasons why they have traditionally put it in Delaware. I think that trend is going to be moving away, however, because of this situation. Now, Vivek said, quote, and he has also a video to accompany it, he says, before the video, quote, the Delaware Chancery Court's decision to strike down Tesla's deal with Elon is a threat to the future of capitalism. Courts shouldn't second-guess the business judgments of boards to maximize shareholder value. Yeah, that's exactly what the Tesla board did here successfully. And without further ado, go ahead and play that really quick.
Yesterday, the Delaware Chancery Court struck down Tesla's board's compensation package for Elon Musk. And that's a pretty messed up decision. It actually matters a lot for the future of capitalism. And here's why. Normally, the rule that's applied in corporate law, including by Delaware corporate law, is one of the business judgment rule, which is to say that courts won't second guess the business judgments made by a board of directors if that board of directors is truly exercising an independent business judgment. And that makes sense, because otherwise no board is going to actually be able to take business decisions into account. Business decisions are calculated risks that are taken on behalf of shareholders, and you have to be able to apply a business risk-taking mindset. And if you're afraid of getting sued after the fact, nobody's ever going to serve on a corporate board, and no corporate board is ever going to take a calculated risk, which is what you need in order for a business to succeed. Well, in this case, the judgment made by the Tesla board, I think, actually was quite reasonable. And you don't have to take it from me, you can take it from the results. They said that Tesla was a $60 billion company, and they wanted to figure out how to get it to be a $600 billion company. And they made the decision that Elon Musk, the guy who got it to be a $60 billion company, was going to be a vital part of making it a $600+ billion company. So they put in place a compensation package where they told Elon, we're not going to pay you cash. You don't get any cash compensation. And you don't even get normal corporate stock options like CEOs do. You get a separate class of stock options that says you only fully get paid the full amount we're going to pay you if the company makes it to $600 billion in value. Very few companies in human history ever get there, ever have gotten there. But they said, that's what we're going to do for you, Elon. And if you get there, you get paid a ridiculously high amount of money, $50+ billion, but it's not ridiculous because you achieved a ridiculous outcome to make that happen for your shareholders. Lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Very few $60 billion companies ever become $600 billion companies, yet Tesla was one of them. And the board of Tesla made the decision they wanted Elon focused on doing that because Elon could do anything else he wanted, start the next $60 billion company if he wanted, and keeping a portion of his attention on Tesla was worth it. That's what the board decided. Now, you might imagine that if they awarded that compensation package and the stock tanked, people might sue the company board in that scenario. But here's something weird happened. The company actually became a $600 billion company. The shareholders who made money along the way still said that, yeah, but Elon Musk still made too much money in the process. And then you have a bureaucrat acting as a judge in air quotes here in the Delaware Chancery Court, that then second guesses that judgment. I'd say tell that judge to go start a $60 billion and then a $600 billion company and offer a better lesson to this board on how it's done. But until then, he needs to respect the norms of corporate law, including the business judgment rule, which he failed to here. And so I'm hopeful that the Delaware Supreme Court overturns this. Not for Elon's sake. Elon's going to be fine either way, but for the sake of capitalism and for the sake of future boards that are then able to at least make the right decision instead of behaving like a bunch of government bureaucrats, which is what this decision by the Delaware Chancery Court invites them to do. That's really what's at stake. It's about the future of capitalism. And one more step on the assault of excellence in America is what you saw from this bureaucrat wearing the garb of a so-called judge.
So Vivek is 110% correct. This will have a terrible detrimental ripple effect on the business community, how businesses operate, how they structure themselves. And it's one of those things where the shareholders agreed to this. And again, a lot of people complain CEOs make too much money. Buy some shares, vote differently. Quite literally. This happened before successfully. I remember, I forget the name of the gentleman, but the gentleman is a CEO of Stellantis, which owns Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, as well as a myriad of other companies, including Maserati, Alfa Romeo, over in Italy and across Europe. There was a year, I believe it was last year, where shareholders said, we think your compensation is too high. So they voted down his compensated package and they altered it differently. CEO of General Motors, Mary Barra, she got a raise. She keeps getting a raise because the shareholders say, okay, we like you. We agree with the direction that you're taking the company. Same with all these companies, really. And these, as it sits right now with this ruling, Elon basically worked for free. He achieved the impossible and got paid nothing for it. And they're arguing, well, his shares that he currently owns, those increase in value. Well, so do the shares of the people that all got that benefit for free. So why shouldn't he be paid for the work he did? For literally achieving what was the highly improbable and many people would argue the impossible. But perhaps I'm alone in this assessment, or maybe an outlier. Just have the comments and find out. Let's see here. Scrolling down here, you got Paul Zupa saying, quote, weaponized government interfering in a private business is exactly why we don't want a central digital bank currency. The Delaware court clearly attacked Elon Musk financially for political reasons. We can't give government the power to do that. That's why CBDC is dangerous. Unquote. They got 584 likes. Elon Musk himself replied saying, exactly, unquote. And he got 5.8 thousand likes. A Music, which, A+ profile in terms of, they're about music, but it is interesting they're about politics as well. They say, quote, I agree. We all know who the real enemy in the free world is. A picture of Ronald Reagan, him saying government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem, unquote. They got 228 likes. Dave Banner, nemesis of neocons, said, quote, the state never gives us anything. It only takes from us, unquote. They got 980 likes. Scrolling down here, you got AMAX saying, quote, courts are increasingly becoming an extension of the radical leftist agenda. Bring back objective justices, unquote. Getting 314 likes. Bulldogs for Vivek said, quote, today is January 31st, and Vivek Ramaswamy will be the best vice president in history alongside President Donald J. Trump, unquote, getting 276 likes. FloridaMan.eth says, quote, it's clear the establishment does not want Elon or Tesla to succeed. Ironic, Elon is spearheading green energy. Why do they hate him so much? Unquote, getting 268 likes. Well, I suspect because he speaks his own mind and he's not in favor of having a one government agenda across the globe. Red Wave Press said, quote, the government has no right to interfere in a person's business. This is government overreach. Follow if you agree, unquote. Ashley St. Clair said, quote, Barr was right about Delaware, unquote, getting 380 likes. Let's see if there's any outliers here. Usually Luke Zaleski? There's a couple of people I follow who are more middle and he's much more left, who usually chime in on these types of situations to give us kind of more contrarian statements and, more data. Interestingly enough, I don't see his feedback on this one. The Deep State says, their profile quite literally is Deep State. They say, quote, some judge with probably no business experience is telling Elon he didn't do enough to earn a certain amount of money. Bizarro World, unquote, getting 93 likes. J.D. Sharp said, quote, it's also what Letitia James did to Trump. It's authoritarianism, unquote. And that got 88 likes. Ryan Walieski says, quote, government should stay out of business. I hope they reincorporate Tesla in Texas, unquote. Getting 98 likes. And it'll be interesting to see what type of legal, tax, and business mechanisms and applications and fallouts and all the, what would the result be to do that from a legal perspective? What kind of additional cost might that incur? That'd be an interesting topic. Now, granted, their headquarters is already here, so they already presumably are paying the Texas franchise fee, which is basically a tax just to operate a business in Texas once you get into a certain threshold of revenue that your company has to pay into every year. Going down here. Dan Turner says, quote, "Thank you, Vivek, for spreading wisdom and enlightenment on every subject you touch." I'm quoting 48 likes. Let's see here. So again, scrolling through here more and more. Do one more. DV says, quote, "I thought the whole point of incorporating in Delaware is because their courts uphold the business judgment rule and other similar protections," unquote. Getting 57 likes, and historically speaking, yes, that is why one of the reasons why so many businesses had incorporated in the Delaware area. So interesting enough, overwhelming positive responses, and I scrolled for quite a bit. There are a lot of comments here, and couldn't see any contrarian statements. And granted, it's a very different sample size. I mean, most people who follow Vivek already agree with him, presumably. But still, I would have thought there'd be a couple more contrarian statements. But I mean, this is one of his most liked responses, and I think this is going to have big implications as a business community on where they start to incorporate the companies throughout the years. But, as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of February, so if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you leave me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a comment, great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.